Hey, welcome in everybody to another edition of Pink's Show. It's been a minute. Took a little hiatus, needed a break, I guess, from doing that for the off season. Now that we're getting closer to football season, we're going to get back into it. A lot of things that I want to really hit on in this show today, talking about. I've been doing a lot of star ranking data, and I think it's interesting. It's one thing to read it. I think you'll understand a little bit more of what I'm doing when I talk it out on this show. I'm also we're gonna look at some film from the USF-Memphis game, which I feel like is the that's the game where USF kind of I don't understand that one. That was one. It's not the outlier. I mean, USF is slightly more talented than Memphis, not crazy by any means. Um, but they didn't win the game, and the way they lost it at the end is going to probably bother you. So we're going to get into that. It bothered me. I'll say that. We'll talk about that, and then of course we're going to talk about football season coming up, which is almost here. We're about to be at SEC Media Days. Auburn will have Champ Anthony, Alex McPherson, and Byron Brown there, so we were close. I think we mentioned Champ on our show with Jeffrey and Allen. I'm pretty sure we said his name because that's the guy they talk about the most. Him and Elijah Melendez. I hear those names more than anyone. And if you read the Summer Whisper report, I had to make light of that once again. So I think a couple things I want to talk about with as I'm trying to figure out what this football team is going to look like in year one. I think I've said before the long term look of this team I like. The short term first year, I'm worried about it. I'm really worried about the first year for this team because now that I put the stars on paper versus other teams, I can see that this team is at a disadvantage. Even Vanderbilt, the Commodores, the butt of the SEC all these years, the butt of the jokes, not anymore. Not anymore. They've proven to be a lot better. You know how I feel about that. A lot of people disagree with me that they'll be as good as they were without Jared Curtis. I don't think they'll be as good as they were. They should be pretty good though. I think that's a pretty tough game on Auburn's schedule as I'm looking at it. They actually have a slight advantage on their defense when it comes to on paper. And do what you will with that information. Maybe that means nothing to you. Maybe it means everything to you. I'm talking to you, 5-star, who's on the board. I think there's merit though, because as I'm going through this and walking through this, I'm seeing that actually the on paper star rankings kind of told the story sometimes more than not, I think. So Vanderbilt has a very slight edge over Auburn's offense. The only one that I've looked at so far, and I haven't looked at Mississippi State, Arkansas, and Alabama. We already know Alabama's going to have the advantage. Mississippi State and Arkansas will be interesting. I don't think they do. I think Auburn has the advantage on them. But Vanderbilt has a slight advantage. The only team that doesn't is Baylor so far as putting Auburn's offense on paper up against everyone else's defense on paper. And boy, that's really interesting. It puts it in perspective for you when you're thinking about these matchups and how it could all go and maybe thinking about a prediction. Here's the thing. I'm not just going to make a prediction this year without having done as much possible research as I can. I'm going to exhaust it. I'm going to break it down because I'm tired of getting burned, just to be honest with you. I'm tired of having a good feeling about the way things are going, portraying that on these shows, and then looking like an idiot because Auburn didn't get it done for whatever reason. Doesn't matter the reason. It's a results business. We're here to predict those results the best that we can. Well, I'm going to have all the evidence that I can find to back that up. So far, the evidence points towards this being a struggle season for Auburn. Straight up. The evidence says this is not going to be an easy football season for Auburn. Now, the outlier to that is what kind of coach is Alex Golesh, right? I think he's a good coach. Everything I've seen so far, I think he's really good, actually. I think his offense is fantastic. I've talked to insiders, people within the program, and outsiders. And I'm going to get into a couple things here that maybe, it's a little edgy. It could maybe make somebody mad, or you could rub somebody the wrong way by saying some of these things. But look, this is our business. This is what we do. We're insiders to you. We're supposed to portray that the best we can. So, one difference that I've seen, and this is from my own research, this is not something someone told me. This is not about an individual or anybody in particular, more so from a staff as a whole. There were some people I felt in the facility when Hugh Freeze was the head coach that probably didn't love the way things were going. Okay, that's not crazy intel. But I think what's crazy about it is, I'd say what stands out in my mind about it is that they didn't really hold back usually. From talking to people, it always seemed like I could get a message of, hey, I just don't know how things are going right now. A little uneasy, a little unsure from people who were on staff. Straight up. I mean, I got that a little bit from those people so far. And this is how it was in year one of Freeze. There was nobody that disagreed with him. Everybody was on the same page. Everything was great. That's the sense I get so far from this Alex Golesh regime. Now, a lot of these guys he brought over, so they follow him blindly in a sense, where they trust him. They know he's going to get them where they need to be, and they just trust him. So I get a lot of that, but it's more of a I guess blind trust is what I'm trying to say. They really do believe he is going to get that program fixed and fast. And it doesn't matter what he decides to do, they're all on board with it. There's no differing opinions from what I can tell so far, at least not voiced to me. So do with that information what you will. Maybe it means something, maybe it doesn't. It's just what I've observed so far. Talking to outsiders while looking at this roster, something that I picked up is exactly what I pick up when I do the star ranking average and put each team on Auburn's schedule against Auburn's team. I get the same thing from outsiders. They're looking at Auburn's team and going, man, they're a lot less talented than they were. One interesting note that I picked up was, hey, there's no possible way this defense is as good or better than it was last year. And you go, I mean, the pieces are there. They still have a lot of the same people. Everything looks good. They picked up Cody Sigler. They picked up Deshaun Womack. There's a lot of good pieces there. Sure. I don't disagree with that. And neither does the outsiders I've talked to. But they think that the offense could be a problem as far as number of plays. We're talking simply mathematics here. Number of plays. And it's something it's kind of understood, but we hadn't talked about it much. You're going from – I made the comment about Hugh Freeze a long time ago, maybe in his first year as head coach. He plays complementary football, whereas on offense, he's thinking about how he can set his defense up well. He was not a huge let's go for it on fourth down. He was not a huge staying in tempo the whole game. He would slow things down if he felt like he needed to. And say what you will about Freeze, maybe that style is what kept them in games. Now, winning it is a totally different ball game, obviously, but that's the way he felt could keep them in games. Alex Golesh's approach to football is totally different. We're not always going to help our defense and put them in the best situations because we're going to be pedal to the floor on offense. There's no slowing down. Tempo is all the time. It's not stopping. You're going to see when we watch this Memphis game here in a few minutes, when they got to the end of that game, you can go back and watch the Florida game, and it was the same thing. Last drive, crucial drives, they don't change anything. They're still going tempo. Maybe they need to burn a little clock. Don't care. Not their style. This is how we do things. And they didn't change it up. And sometimes it got their defense in trouble. And a lot of people like to bash Todd Orlando, who was their defensive coordinator, and say, man, without, Golesh is going to love having Durkin as his defensive coordinator. Sure. But I'm just telling you, the style of play here is going to affect things on defense. That's what I've heard from outsiders. I heard it, totally agreed with it. I think that could be a thing we see. Does that mean the Auburn's defense is going to be bad? No, I think Auburn's defense is going to be pretty good. But are they always going to be in the best position? Probably not. Tempo offense does that. We saw that with Gus Malzahn. Like I've said before, I think there's a lot of similarities here between Golesh and Gus Malzahn. This is one of them. I think your defense can be in some handles sometimes because of it. I tell you what, I have never seen so many, just kind of changing gears here with recruiting. It's so different than it's ever been, man. And I've covered this for only 4.5, 5 years now, but I've followed it for all my life and been an enthusiast of it and been an analyst of it even before I was doing this. I just never have seen it like this way where there's so many differing opinions on a player's value. And fair enough. That's how it has to be now because you are buying value at the end of the day. You're let's take Cedric Simmons, for example, who just flipped from Auburn to Alabama. I don't have every single detail on why that happened, but I have common sense, and this is what common sense tells me. Cedric Simmons chose Auburn over Alabama initially because Auburn probably had the better deal in place. And deal doesn't necessarily equate to money. Deal can mean where they're going to use him, what his contract looks like if he's at Auburn, his everything factors into what I mean by deal. He chose Auburn in the first place. Alabama goes and Kyron Caldwell, I believe was the kid's name. They were on him as their other receiver target that was kind of in the same category. And this is from listening to our guys at Bama Online. I'm getting that information. And he ends up going to Maryland. Maryland put a higher value on that guy. Like we said with James Branch, if Maryland decided James Branch was their number one guy, they're probably going to get him because they're not going to let anybody outbid them if that's their number one guy. It's not Auburn's number one guy. He's probably a little lower on the safety board. So that's where it becomes interesting with every recruitment. Well, Alabama misses or doesn't take this Kyron Caldwell guy, however you want to explain that. They come back to Cedric Simmons and rework a deal and get it done. Cedric Simmons kind of grew up an Alabama fan, did grow up an Alabama fan. It all plays into that. Makes sense. None of that is shocking to me. I don't think that you would consider that like a blindside to the staff. Cedric Simmons is a good player. A lot of people inside Auburn's building think he's going to be really good, right? But do you fight? How hard do you fight for a guy that's lower on your board? This is the business of it. This is where we were talking with Jeffrey the other night, and like, man, it's almost hard to do this without feeling like you're putting someone down, but that's not the case. It's just business. That's how this goes. But I've never seen so many opinions on one player. It's like every time I talk to somebody at Auburn, they'll give me an opinion on a player. Okay, this is, yeah, man, he's a can't-miss kind of guy. Okay, gotcha. Could talk to somebody else that I know in the business or someone else that I know in the coaching world about the same player. Oh, man, I can't believe they're paying that much money for that guy. I can't believe they didn't pay for that guy. What are they thinking? Everybody, there's so many different opinions now on one particular player that I just don't really know how to make heads or tails of if this was a reach for someone, if this was a steal for someone, if this is appropriate. Like, yeah, he should be getting $200,000. I don't know. Everybody has a different opinion on that. Everybody. I don't think anybody has the same opinion on that number for every single player. Very rarely, unless it's somebody who's a can't miss and they go, yeah, well, he's worth whatever he wants. So because of that, man, I think never pass on a playmaker, which is what I will end the show saying, means more than it probably did a couple of years ago. You got to find the right guys that fit your system at the end of the day. I don't really care what someone else values that guy as. If you value him and you know he fits in what you do and he's going to help you win football games, go pay whatever you want for him, no matter who thinks it's a reach or not. Now, I got to tell you, I didn't bring that up for no reason, the steal and reach thing on the NFL draft and equating that to high school football recruiting now. I hear it all the time. Man, they reached. Man, that's a reach. I got to steal. I hear it a lot. It's the exact same model you're looking at now in college football. It is. But again, I really think getting the right guy for your system there's a ton of value in that. I just Myson Johnson Cook, that they were not going to be outbid for him. That was their number one guy, probably on the board overall for any prospect in this class. I've had one person I trust tell me that is one of the, and this is not an Auburn person, that is one of the freakiest players I've ever seen. Auburn feels the same way. They feel like he's going to fit exactly what they're trying to do with their offense, which is, again, a bet on what they think is the best way to win a football game. Go do it. Pay whatever you want. That's how I see it. Well, then you get into this, what I call this has taken the place of what used to be such a big deal, which was blue chip percentage. I think as I'm doing all of these star rating things, I think people are looking at it and going, okay, yeah, that's not as big of a deal as it once was. Let's just call it. Now that the transfer portal is there, there's hundreds and hundreds of guys that were either really, really lowly rated or not even rated at all that end up being really good at, La Tech, and then ends up at Auburn or Alabama or whatever. And when they're rated in the transfer portal, they get this new rating where it's like, this guy's the number 4 defensive tackle in the portal. Okay, that's good. But the original blue chip percentage that we base everything on high school rankings said he was nothing. So it's interesting. The entire world of roster building is different now than it was as building blue chips. And I think actually if you go and you get a class kind of like A&M's got right now, you're going to have a lot of politics in play. The question is, do you have a coach who can handle those politics and get it under control? It's not if you're going to have them or not. If you're willing to go that far and have politics, and what do I mean by that? This guy's got to be here because I paid him this much. This guy, nobody can beat him out, even if they're better, because I paid him $1 million. That's what I'm talking about. If you can handle that as a head coach, you'll be fine. I think Mike Elko obviously has proven he can handle it. So you understand what I'm saying here. The new thing where it used to be blue chip percentages now, how much did you pay for your roster? Oh, hey, they got a $30 million roster. They got a $40 million roster. It only matters if you have a coach who knows what to do with it. That's still the most important part, no matter if you spend $100 million on your roster. And I think Auburn has one that knows what it's doing from a football standpoint. And everybody I've talked to, insiders, outsiders, everyone agrees with that. Not everyone agrees with the fact that he can handle the politics of an Auburn. Now, yeah, this is his first time as a head coach. Yeah, he's been at Tennessee, but he wasn't the head coach there. He was the play caller. It's different. Head coach at Auburn, that brings a lot of politics. Again, what is politics? I just explained it to you. The semantics of the money that's in the sport now. How does he handle that? Don't know. I have no idea. Outsiders don't know. Insiders feel pretty good about it, but don't truly know. Or they just don't know what to expect yet. And that's where I'm still kind of held up. I feel really good about the recruiting part. I know they can get good players. I've asked people about this class from an outsider perspective, and they've said to me, talent's not an issue in this class. They've got it. Chance Gilbert's one of the best safeties I've seen. Myson Johnson Cook is a freak. Leighton Von Brandt has a chance to be a very, very good offensive lineman. Jalen Moore. Everybody loves Jalen Moore that I talk to. It goes on. The list goes. James Pace, Ryan Jackson. They think those are really, really, really good guys at edge who can be really good from a projection standpoint. MJ Evans, a lot of people like him. It goes on and on. I mean, outsiders and insiders alike believe they've got a lot of talent in this class. How do they handle the politics of it? That's where it becomes interesting to me. And when it happens, I'll try to be more able to point it out and go, this is what I'm talking about. And I think I've done it. I think I've done it in the past, but we'll continue to do that. It's important. This is the hardest part of coaching at Auburn. It's not necessarily how hard your schedule is. You can find the talent. It's Auburn. You have the money. You can recruit here. You match Auburn up with a guy like Alex Golesh and his staff who's good at recruiting. They have a plan in place. They know what they're doing. They're going to put a good class together like they've just done. But the next step is where I really am leaning in to see how that plays out. So, those are some quick thoughts, insiders and outsiders. If you have any questions, ask me. If I didn't make any sense there on the board, the corner, the bunker, which I think is the hidden gem of auburnsports.com. If you're not a member, you should join us. We're going to get into film, but before we do, I'm going to throw it to Zen AI, who is actually sponsoring my show this week, as well as a few other shows in our network. Zen AI is the home of Vibecasting, a new way to capture and share conversations. It helps anyone turn a conversation into something worth sharing, a podcast, a reel, or a TikTok with no production skills required, which, listen, everybody's got a podcast these days. You need to check into Zen AI. Hit record on your phone, have a real conversation. Zen AI's AI producer handles the rest. Cleanups, clips, everything you need for social media. It's that simple. Zen AI is paying new Vibecasters to make their first sportscast about their favorite team. Go live during the game, record your takes, bring your own co-host, or you can get one in Zen AI's network if you don't have somebody to bring on. Zen AI is currently in invite-only beta, so head to zen.ai to join the waitlist or check out show notes for the link. It's in there. All right, we're going to get into some film here. Zach, I got my screen shared, and here we go. So I haven't done this in a minute. Every time it's like I'm having to relearn everything with my keyboard shortcuts, and so just forgive me. And just the flow of this, but I want to walk through this game for the last 30 minutes of this and just show you some more of their offense. I don't look at the defense for USF really. I just don't really see the point in it. We're looking at Auburn's offense here, not only in what they do, but also in personnel. And obviously we're going to learn about Byron Brown every time we turn on the tape. Memphis was a good football team. Ryan Silverfield ends up getting hired in the SEC at Arkansas. They beat South Florida in this game. South Florida was ranked 18th, 6-1. Memphis was really good too. So this is probably the most even matched game you're going to find on USF's schedule. Everybody else, if they were overmatched, it was Miami or Florida, and they're well overmatched in those games. If it was anybody else on USF's schedule, they were way better on paper than those teams. This was the one that was the closest. Either this one or Boise. I think those two were really close, but either way, this is the conference game. It meant a lot, and USF ends up losing this game, right? So let's just walk through it. I got starred plays. We're going to go through the starred plays. This was the first drive of the game for them. They run a little outside zone play, get 3 yards. And let's see, is my volume on? Yeah, let's fix that. Okay. All right. Second play of the game on 2nd and 7. They're going to take, I believe, a deep post here. I think that's Singleton right here, if I'm not mistaken. And it's a play action. This is what they do all the time. It's always play action whenever they get a nice little run play. They're never going to really drop back and throw. And what I mean by that, what is drop back? That's when pretty much each guy has a zone. They have the gaps to their left and right. That's a drop back pass. There's no play action here in the backfield. It would just be a straight 3-step drop by your quarterback. He's sitting in a pocket that's a drop protection. That's what I mean when I say drop. All right. This is not drop. This is play action. It's a little bit different protection. Similar, but different. So you got your play action here. Again, I find this interesting with their offense. It's like we only work with one side of the field. Don't want to give – actually, the more I think about it, the more I kind of like it. It's less options, but it's less to think about. So you got this guy walked over in the alley. You know he's probably blitzing here. He leaves this guy alone, but he's really actually not on a route. He just kind of runs up to that guy and acts like he's going to block him and never touches him. But it does hold this guy here. Like he's not a part of the play anymore because he's got to respect it. So I find that interesting. So it's really your post here, which is a more defined post, and then you have like a shallow drag by your tight end. You're just working that post. And really, I think this is your read. If he's dropping back, you probably can't throw it. If he's playing up to the play action or if he takes a step forward, throw it, rip it. So you see that safety sits and squats, as Gary Danielson would say. Then he takes the tight end. You got to drop right there. Let me turn these captions off. Yeah. All right. So this is one of those plays where the protection is pretty good, but Brown felt like he needed to get outside the pocket, which is not something he does all the time. He throws against his body, puts it on the money, man. Singleton is actually working back on his post when he sees Brown scramble. I mean, these are the kind of things that they do where you go, they just know what to do. They understand football. Bad drop here. They have some drops. If you actually look at Byron Brown's adjusted percentage, completion percentage, I think it was around 68 or 69% for the year. He's actually closer to like 77 or 78% when you adjust it to the drops. So anyway, that was a tough miss right there. It was a good throw by Brown, good work by him, but a drop there by Singleton. All right, this play you have a sit down by your tight end who is in the slot. So he's going to run. He's right here, like a little sit down at the sticks. And this is something that I really like about their third down play calling. They find the sticks. I mean, they're just really good at it. It's like they're so prepared to know where it is, no matter the down and distance. And they know on third down they got to find it. They got to sit down at it, get their first down. And then Brown's timing is always good here. So you see right there again, he sits right at the sticks. And then whether it's 4 yards, 7 yards, they always have a good idea of that. And this is kind of that concept that we didn't like much with Auburn, where you're just sitting, but they know they're in zone here. Just find the hole, let Brown kind of find that, whatever the best option is there, and make an easy throw against the hole in the zone. Nothing wrong with that. Like it. This play was a false start, which was like the first false start I'd seen in 4 or 5 games. That's good, right? And they are the away team, which I don't really think that it was a big home field advantage at Memphis, but it wasn't at home for USF. Bottom line, this was the worst play of the game. This is the worst throw that I have seen Byron Brown make so far in watching this. And what happens is he's working across his progressions. Okay. Let me look at it. I can see his eyes working here. He's looking at this crosser. And then he works back to, let's see. I think his tight end is who he works back to. No. Oh, I see. He's working actually left to right. So he's got a corner route here. This guy comes in motion and he runs an out route underneath it. So you kind of have a levels situation going on here. He doesn't like either one of those. I actually think that his out route comes open about right here, but he doesn't like it. He hesitates, and then he works back to his drag, but he never sees Cuz right here drop into that lane. And it's so rare for him to make these mistakes. He doesn't make these mistakes a lot. I haven't seen it up until this point. This was just everybody's got one, I guess. This was a really, really bad decision. So your guy right here, he's sort of drifting over there to that out route. Then he comes back to the middle of the field, but Brown never sees it. So drifting, comes back to the drag, boom, pick. Bad pick. Good play by number 6 for USF to knock that ball out. They got no quit. They got no quit. There's always a play to be made. It's kind of the way they seem to go about things. Let's see. So this is the next drive. It starts with a scramble from Brown. He gets a few yards. And then Memphis stops a gap scheme run. Kamari Wilson, by the way, played for this Memphis defense. He was a 5-star that went to Georgia. I think he went to Georgia. Ended up transferring to Memphis. I think he's transferred again. Here's a first down throw to Christian Neptune. This is on 3rd and 2. 3rd and 2. This is the down and distance. Once again, what are they going to do? You're going to run a little option right to the sticks. I think they all have an option route to a degree, but pre-snap, again, this is where I think this offense is just a little bit I don't want to say ahead of where Hugh Freeze's offense was, but knowledgeable for the players, whereas I'm not leaving you with so much freedom that you're going to screw it up on your own accord because you have so much freedom within a play. You have these rules. I think they're a lot more rule-oriented is the best way to say it. So this, if he's got option routes everywhere, based on the coverage, he knows these two guys are going to play it like this. They don't have enough room to come back on it, so they're going to go over the top. Well, look at all the cushion here. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, almost 8 yards between your slot and the guy covering him. Easy. First down line's right here, right? Cut it off right there. Here's the thing, though. That doesn't work because this guy's going to trigger down on it, right? He's going to trigger down on that little route. It only works if your quarterback's on time with it. And how does he know to be on time? Because that's the rule. He's the guy that's really uncovered to an extent, or at least 8 or 9 yards off, and he's going to break it off at the sticks. That's the rule. So they know pre-snap, they got this play. It's over. Unless this guy jumps it somehow, this corner that's boom. And this is an RPO. He could have handed it off, but he saw it pre-snap that he had the separation. It stayed that way. Throw it, get the first down. Let's move on. We don't need a big home run play here. We need the first down. It's a good catch by Neptune. You're not asking him to make a big play. Just make the catch, get down. Let's keep it moving. Here we go with some tempo. All right. They get into the next drive. They get a fresh set of downs. Split zone gets 1 yard. Not much there. All right. 2nd and 9. What do they like to do on 2nd down? What do they like to do after a run play, which was not a successful run play, but they take a play action shot. All right. Let me watch this one real quick. Play action. Looks like they got sort of like a scissors curl and comeback type thing going on over here, which is it should look a little bit like they're stacked up here. He's going to go here, and then he's going to come back over here. So Neptune is the guy behind here, and he sits down and never moves. This is Koger. He's going to sit down right here. When he sees the play breakdown, he's going to work back in an angle. He actually works right in front of Neptune, which is kind of weird. Like you really don't want them to be in the same place, but it works out, and I'll show you why. Play action. He looks over there to his deep shot. Not there. He comes back to this. There's Koger. Watch Neptune right here. I'll show you. Ball's out. Takes a long time. Got plenty of time in the pocket. Let me see what Cole Best is doing. We haven't given him much love here. Cole Skinner didn't play in this game. Oh, that's a great job. So Cole Best at Cole Best at center, not Skinner, is right there. He drops in his hole. This is a drop protection as far as I'm concerned. They may have a different name for it. I don't know. That's what I call it. Memphis runs a little twist. Now, they got 3-man rush, so it's not a huge threat, but they run a twist. The what's good here, you can see after the drop, he's already dropped about 3 steps. Cole Best is still facing forward. His shoulders are square. He's not turned them to that nose or fallen in love with him, as I like to say. He's still holding his 2 gaps. He's got a gap to the left, a gap to the right. All right. Because of that, when that looper comes in trying to go through a gap, it's closed for business. And that's how that's done. And they got all the time in the world. Byron Brown can sit there and figure it out now. How many SEC teams are going to bring a 3-man rush on 2nd and 9? Probably not many. But you get the point. They understand their rules. So he ends up throwing it over here to Coger. But the play here, to me, is made by Christian Neptune. Christian Neptune throws a bow on this guy, and he throws another shoulder into the other guy. It springs Jeremiah Coger for a couple yards. They get a first down. It's not a hard game when you really break it down, guys. You just need to get across the sticks. How do you do that? You do it by playing fundamental football. And you got to want it. You also have to want it. Neptune wanted the first down right here. He didn't have the ball. He didn't pout about it. He turned around and threw an elbow at somebody or shoulder, whatever you want to call it. Boom, boom. And it opened up enough space for Coger to advance for a first down. You just don't understand how valuable that kind of stuff is. I don't care what the star rankings say. If you're doing that in ball games, you got a shot. Plain and simple. All right, so they get a first down. You get a run by Brown for a short gain. You get another run by Brown for a short gain. Now you get another first down. They're keeping it on the ground here. We're not going to watch every single play. This was a really, really cool route right here. A big play. It's an angle route, and if you don't know what an angle route is, usually it's run by a running back, which in this case, if the running back were running an angle route, he'd run at an angle like he was going to do this, but instead, boom, back across. That's an angle route. So what you got here, and I think if I remember correctly, he was going to run like he's running to the middle of the field or like a crosser, maybe something like that, and then he comes back this way at an angle. I'm calling it an angle. I don't know what they call it, but that's what it looks like. And he's open. Look how much separation, right? Play action. They bring a little extra pressure. Check out the running back here, and that's, I think it's number 4. It's not Davenport. I think it's Sam Franklin. Gets a nice pop on that end. Keeps that pocket clean. Cole Best is doing a good job up there. They shift right before the snap. He's pointing them out. They got a drop. He's taking care of the A-gaps. Loses his shoulders and balance a little bit there, but recovers okay. Good thing is somebody was open. Somebody's not open here. This pass protection gets a little messy. But you see how that angle route worked. He runs to the middle field. Coger does. Right? They have somebody leave him. He cuts back underneath the safety. Ball's out. Big time play. Coger had a big game in this one. And again, that's another play action play. Have a lot of success on this play action passing offense. All right, they run a Q power. Memphis stuffs it. They run a little H duo play, get 3 yards, getting closer. I think now it's 3rd and goal. This is what they run on 3rd and goal. It's like a whip route by this guy. He's going to run like this and come back right at the goal line. He's basically running back here, and he settles in here and just sort of waits until a little hole opens up. And they run this later. I think they run the exact same play later. Byron Brown just makes one of those plays. And the flag in the end zone is defensive holding on Coger. Again, they pick up a blitz really well up front. I don't think by any means there's any serious talents on this offensive line. They just do things by the rules, and number 62 gets a nice little push there that definitely helps. And that's a really nifty move by Byron Brown. He didn't have anybody. The reason he didn't have anybody is because Coger's being held. That was the guy he's looking for. So he's got to make something happen, and he gets 6 points out of it. That's kind of what you're working with Byron Brown. He can do these things. That's a great play. I like that little whip route with the dig over the top, sort of settle into the zone. They end up hitting it later. Same concept for a touchdown. You'll see it shortly. I noticed this during the game, and I think whoever was calling the game pointed it out too, that he thought it was sort of different. And there was a ton of injured players for USF in this game for whatever reason, most of them on defense, but it never mattered. Golis was going to be out there with them. See, right here. He went out there. He talked to everybody. In fact, reading his mouth on one of them, I think he was telling them, "Hey, man, you're good. Let's go. We don't need to lay out here." Like he's just got an interesting relationship with his players that I think is going to be a lot different than what we've seen. All right, new drive, jet, outside zone. Get a little pull there by Brown. Gets a few. They're back to their RPO running game. They throw it incomplete. It's really not a bad throw. It's a little low, but after that interception, I really didn't see any bad throws from Brown. In fact, I agree with Alex Golesh at halftime. Golesh says he has played elite football other than that interception. I totally agree. All right, you got a little drive concept. This was he had to fit it into Eccles on this one. I'll just show it to you. Won't really break this one down. But he had good protection again. They brought forward and twisted and picked it up. It's got a nice little pocket. He put it in Jonathan Eccles' hands. It was just covered. That was kind of a tough one, but pretty good throw, actually. All right, they go tight end shoot right there. And then they punch it across with a little power G run. I felt like Cole Best had a nice block on this play. You see him right there. Let's see. Right here at center. He's going to turn that nose. Turn him, and there goes the back. Very good. And tempo, I'm telling you, tempo helps in those things. You can't just use the entire play clock, line up, and beat somebody. You have to have the element of surprise sometimes when your offensive line is just not as talented or not talented enough to push people around all the time. All right, another run stuff right there. You got a play action where Brown ends up scrambling, gets a short gain. Then you have this play was really, really nice. Again, 3rd and 3. What are they going to do? They're probably going to run an option route that breaks back to the first down line. So he's going to run out like he's going a little bit deeper and then curl back. And I don't know if it's an option. It might be a curl, but either way, they're going to get it right around that first down line once again, and the timing from Brown is perfect. You can't ask for better. So they get the motion to single Neptune up. He gives a little inside release, catches, breaks a tackle. We're going to get about 10 or 15 yak yards like he tends to do. I love this Neptune guy. Running back, not bad on protection. Probably need to attack it a little more. You took it in the chin a little bit, but you got in the way, which is always good. That's always better than not. And they brought a big blitz here, so he had to get it out. I mean, they're anticipating blitz when they run a short route like this. And if you don't get it, it can be bad. But with that motion from your tight end, I think singling him up made it a lot easier to get that throw out faster. Again, they just have a really nice design on things. And then their quarterback knows how to get it out in time and where the route's going to break. He just knows all those things. He's just a little bit of ahead of the game when it comes to that. That was Amarian Cooper, who he made miss, by the way, was his transfer from Florida State. Pretty decent prospect, like a high 3-star, 4-star borderline guy. So impressive. I always point out when Neptune is doing things that, I just don't think he gets a lot of credit for. I think this is just a play later. They go play action again, going deep, pumps it, has all day. He ends up getting Neptune on scramble drill, basically. Even though he didn't scramble, he stayed in the pocket. His receivers kept working back. This protection, man. Look at this protection. Now, they only bring like They bring 4 guys. They bring an extra guy. Look at Cole Best right here. It's a play action, sort of like a rollout in a way. They don't roll out, but he's going to pull and become this blocker right here and handles it really well. I mean, he got like 5 seconds in the pocket? That's unheard of. Neptune again works all the way back, understands what he's doing. Again, I don't think any of these guys are like surefire NFL players, but they know what the crap they're doing. I can tell you that from watching it. This is the Superman play. He's going to have one of these in most games. I really don't have to talk you through this one much. It's student body right. QB sweep, right? This is basically what it looks like. Lead blocker, and you'll have your receiver come down and block. And he's just going to run QB sweep to the wide side of the field. Just enjoy this play. Good blocks. Makes a man miss. Gives a little hurdle. Makes another miss. And you got another 6 points from Byron Brown run the football. That was a design run. Good stuff. All right. They come back on another drive here. I only highlighted this one because it's my favorite play in football. The jet power read. So he's reading. If they had an end here, which they really don't, he's a 4-eye technically, so they're not really reading it. It ends up being jet sweep, I believe, to Neptune. And Neptune makes another nice play. Whoa, I forgot about that. Nakai Davenport. Here's your guy right here. Watch this. Boom. It's a good block. I think I told you several times he's the best blocker they got at Auburn in the backfield. And he's used in that way, and he don't care. That's why they brought him. Hey, you may not be getting as many carries as some of these other guys, but we're going to need you to block. Hey, you got it. That's the kind of guy you want, for sure. Talking to his team chaplain from Roswell, Georgia. He's like, yeah, man, he does not care if he gets the football. He wants to be in the game. I think those kind of guys help you win football games. In fact, a little side note here. I was watching the John Gruden quarterback show where he has the quarterback in the film room, and he doesn't pull any punches with him, which I love. And he's talking to Taylor Green. He's talking to Diego Pavia. He says to Taylor Green, man, you got you know how he talks. You got all these measurables. You ran a 4.3 at the combine. You're a 6'6" quarterback. Somebody says they want to have you at receiver. What do you say to them? And he goes, I'm a quarterback. He goes, understood. He talks to Diego Pavia. He says, hey, man, you're a shorter guy. You're a hard runner. What if somebody wants to use you like Taysom Hill? Pavia goes, Coach, I give anything to be on the field. Whether you like Pavia or not, that is the difference between Vanderbilt and Arkansas. Because if you put them together on paper, they look like about the same team as far as star ratings go. But their mentality is what took them to 10 wins when Arkansas can't get it together. That's all I'm saying. All right. They had a little lull here in the offense, I believe. A couple of run plays that go nowhere. Let's see. Go for a screen that doesn't work. Let's see what this one was. 4th down. Didn't like this at all. This felt very Hugh Freeze-like. I have not found myself saying that a lot while watching South Florida on film, but this play felt like it to me. It's basically out here, you got a one-on-one option, and he goes over the top because of the coverage. Everything else, let's see, what was everything else? Motion, so they single him up. I think they probably run that little curl again. Yeah. So this was the play they hit on earlier. Same play where Neptune caught it about right here. That's Ruben. It's not Neptune, but you see pre-snap because Brown's given some freedom here. This is why I'm such a proponent of not giving way too much freedom to a quarterback and going, these are your rules. I want you to stick to it. I don't want you to have, I don't want it to be open to interpretation. I don't think that's the best thing for them. Sometimes in this offense, they do that, and it's very rare. Usually he's got a set of rules. I think if he sits here and he actually goes through and waits for his little curl again, he's probably going to get it. It's tighter coverage because I think they understood what was coming this time, or this guy did. But he's got this one-on-one matchup with no safety help. Here's the nearest guy that can help. He's not helping on this over the top. And he takes it, which is a good matchup. I mean, it's a good matchup because this guy's pretty good at it, Koger, against a corner that's a little smaller than him. But it's 4th and 3. This is not a high percentage play. You want high percentage on these downs and distances. High percentage gives you a better chance. This is a low percentage play. Unless you get interfered with, and who knows? I mean, it's a gamble. It's the gamble that Hugh Freeze lived and died by, and I just don't want to see that again. And that's what I'm seeing on this play, and I don't like it. So Byron Brown looks at both sides. He sees he's got this matchup. He's decided already he's throwing it. I've already decided I'm throwing that matchup. Look, his eyes never come off of it. It's a back shoulder throw. It's just not the right throw either, I don't think. Let's see. Let me look at it again. And I think you lay that one over the top. But that's where it gets more Hugh Freeze offense like, because when you're making that pre-snap decision on just a one-on-one matchup, you don't know how he's going to release. You don't know how that corner is going to flip. Maybe he slips, and then you throw the wrong ball because you're guessing. I don't want guessing. Take the guessing game out of it. Here's your rules. Do it, right? That's why I don't like this play call. It feels way too similar to the old regime, and I don't like it. But, again, I don't see this a lot. It happens every so often, every other game or so. I mean, I certainly have not seen it on a 4th down. That was the first time all season I saw that, but definitely worth pointing out. Didn't like that one at all. All right, so they get to a new drive here. Hitch and corner. This goes to Neptune for a really short game. They have an A-gap issue right here. And if you don't know the gaps, between center and guard is A-gap. Between center and guard on the other side is A-gap. Tackle and guard, that little gap is called the B gap. Here's the B gap. Outside of tackle is the C gap. There you go. Quick lesson. A gap is the one place you don't want to let somebody run through. So a lot of defenses like to run double A gap blitzes to try to make you sweat. And it works. DJ Durkin does it too. This is actually they were working on going for a triple A gap blitz here. Here's the end zone view. So he's gonna go right here to this A gap. This backer goes to that A gap, and this safety is gonna come down and go to that A gap. But he ends up going in the B because this guy squeezes it. So there you go. I had it wrong with the people, but you see everybody's trying to target that A gap and just cause a lot of problems for your center and guards. And what ends up happening is your guard over here, if this is a drop protection, which I think it is, unless it's play action, then it's a little different. Or if they have a slide on, and I don't think they do, he shouldn't be that locked onto this guy. He should be shoulder square. I got an arm pushing you over to my help here and waiting for something to come through the A gap, because there it is. Ends up being the running back that takes it on. Another guy comes free because they had 3, and that's what happens there. Sometimes, look, you just chalk it up to, hey, that was a really good blitz. Nothing you can do there. They don't have this happen a lot. This is something that happened to Auburn almost every drive. So this is why they don't drop back pass a lot, because of this kind of stuff. They avoid this if they can. But at this point, offense was getting a little stagnant, so they had to do something there. All right, then they go draw on a big down there on like a 2nd and 15 and don't get much. Let's see. They go play action, stutter and go. They didn't get it. I think this is a new drive, if I'm not mistaken. No, 3rd and 2. They get close on a screen, I guess. If not for a really great catch, this is not a great throw. It's an RPO. Again, pre-snap, what are we looking at here? How far is he off? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Almost 8 again. It's about the same alignment, so go for that one. Pre-snap, you've already determined it. That throw was just a little hot, but you got it. The guy made a really good catch. That's Moody Rubin. Pretty good player for them. I think he graduated. Otherwise, he probably would have come with them. Oh, let's see. Here's another. This is tempo. After they get the first down, they're going to go tempo NASCAR, whatever you want to call it. Of course, the broadcast cuts it off a little bit because they can't handle tempo offenses. Let's see. He chooses his quick screen over here because of numbers. 1-on-1 blocking. And then he's got a guy to make a play. You take the numbers advantage every single time. They didn't do a lot of this RPO in this game. I feel like this is their bread and butter, and they didn't really do it. And maybe that's why they didn't score as many points in this game. But Memphis was trying to take that away a little bit with all their zone, keeping guys out there in the flats. This is a big play. Keyshawn Singleton is absolutely what I would call bulldogging this guy. I'll show you. Singleton out in front, blocking, ends up putting him on the ground. That's good. They get a first down out of that. Great stuff. I love that RPO. That's a great RPO. It's not, you ain't thinking that hard. It's just numbers. Can you count? Okay. Go to the lesser numbers. It's that easy. I don't have to think about making the perfect throw and if the receiver's actually gonna do what he's supposed to do and I throw it over the top or if I go back shoulder. Nope, just pick the numbers and toss it out there. Here's the big run by Davenport. And you'll see that Nakai Davenport is not very fast. But he has good vision. They're going to run inside zone here. Outside zone. So it's going to look kind of like that. It's more of a stretch play rather than an inside zone. They're all stretching and reaching. I think he's going to go across and get a kick block or something of that nature. This is one of their best run schemes, in my opinion. Hand it off to Davenport. He makes a nice little cut right there. And he's off to the races. He's not fast enough to win it. This guy that runs him down is Chris Bracey. He's now transferred to Michigan. He was a big-time guy in the portal. But you see the vision. You see that every once in a while his blocking will pay off. He reminds me of your old-school fullback who blocks. Then he gets a touch or two here and there, and he can make a play with it. So it's a big play. You wish you'd outrun number 5, but he's just not that fast. So that's what you're working with Davenport. All right, then they feed Davenport again. He gets 4 yards. Let's see what happened on this one. I think they're going to go with a slot slant here and try to hit it in the window. Brown's going to rifle it in there. Too hot. Coverage a little tight, too. I like it. Nothing wrong with that. It's a pretty good little shot there. Then they come to a 3rd and goal. This is the same play we saw earlier where you're going to have – it's different, though, as far as who's running it. It's not a dig. I called it a dig earlier. It's not that. He's really just working back here and just kind of settling. And he's going to just kind of work around here and just wait until he's got a place for them to throw it to in this area of the end zone. Meanwhile, this guy's going to come up. This is Davenport and work a little whip route, kind of work to this pylon to try to open up this space back here. And it works. And again, I think they have really good protection. Yeah, looks good. Boom. Hits him. Very good. Very good job by Coger to just sit there and wait. But also you kind of be aware of what's going on and move until you're in the open space. And it was really good by Brown as well to stand in, wait for it to happen, and then rifle it in there. It's simple. It looks like when you compare this to what you watched with Auburn in the last couple of years, it looks like, man, it looks like they were trying to do rocket science or rocket surgery as Alan Head would say. All right, this is a new drive. 50 seconds until halftime. Can they get in field goal range? This first play is really nice. I believe it is an out route or a corner route. Oh, it's your angle route again. Well, this one's more of an out route, but he runs it at an angle and then breaks it out. All right, so good stuff there. They get an incomplete pass here, stops the clock. Here comes a check down to the back. This is 2-minute drill, so we're going to run through it really quick. Check down to the back. Not ideal because the clock keeps running. They get a few yards, though, but they still got 33 seconds to work with and a timeout. I believe 2 timeouts. All right. 31 seconds and counting. They hit Singleton right over the middle, right at that, projected field goal line. They get all the attention over here since they had a little bit of time to think about this play. Get all the attention over here. You get a single over here. Right? Safety comes down to keep tabs on it. He's in the alley, but he backs off really heavily. And then there's just this small window that Brown has to fit it in, and he does. All right, now they get a first down, change move, stops the clock momentarily. All right, next play. I think you get a throwaway right here, which is really, really, really smart. Stops the clock at 17 seconds. Now they're kind of in field goal range. All right. You get a wheel route with a stutter in it. Brown gets hit as he throws, incomplete. He's open. Now they got 12 seconds to work with. I like that little stutter on the wheel. That was pretty cool. This is another big one. They run the exact same play. Hit. Wait a minute. This is wrong. It's a deep curl. Again, Koger is sitting there trying to settle. Again, this is a freshman. Koger's a freshman in this. And he's just comfortable. He knows what he's doing out there. He's never lost. He sits there in the zone hole, works back, gives his quarterback a target. They hit it. They got 5 seconds left. Get on the ball, spike it, kick the field goal, get points going to halftime. And they go into halftime with a 10-point lead. So you would think they're going to win this football game. Well, no, they don't. All right, second half, they go jet power read. Then they go GH counter. And then they go to a drop back throw on 3rd and 3. Great patience here to let this one develop. And you got to have the protection, which they brought it a little bit. Memphis did. I love the interior offensive lineman protection here. I'm going to show it to you. They just keep those gaps closed. Everybody's square. They're not letting anybody run through the gaps. Now, they're getting pushed a little bit, but they don't leave any gaps open, and that's why Brown has some time. And he needs it because his first read's not here. I think his first read's the curl or the drag. The crosser right here by Neptune. I think that's his first read. He's got a drag underneath it. So it's almost like a mesh route, but it's not really a mesh point. It's just they're crossing up. That one goes across. He doesn't like it, even though it is kind of open. But he finds his drag. Keyshawn Singleton makes a nice play after the catch. That's a great play. Great execution all around. All right. They get a first down. They go tempo. Are they going to run the football? No, we're going play action. Let's take a shot. Because they got their foot on the pedal right now because they know they've got them on the ropes, which is why I love the way they attack things. They got them on the ropes. Got to make it happen. So they run their option routes, sit down, come back to it. Neptune gets first down. All right. We're going a little faster through it now, just talking you through what's happening. I don't have to break down every play necessarily. I think by this point, if you watch these shows, even though it's been a month or so since we've recorded one, you kind of know what they're about offensively, their designs, everything like that. They try that same QB sweep again. It only goes for about 3, but it's a good first down play. Outside zone lasso. This is one of my favorite plays. Lasso is my term. That's not their term. Now, I've seen different terms for it. We called it lasso, and this was our signal for it. What I mean by lasso is anytime you run this H-back across the formation, it looks like split zone, but he's going out to be a lead blocker in space for your QB pull. I call that a lasso because you're trying to lasso it in, I guess, that's why we called it that, I think. So finally, Brown gets a pull on this one. Now he's got his lead blocker out there, and he's got room to run. He makes an excellent little run here. So watch your lasso block. This is Eccles. Eccles out there. Boom. Hat on a hat. Now I can get Brown free with his legs. Great design. Great play call. Then they go play action. They go with a post corner, I think is what I called it. Take a shot. They get interference because they got their foot on the pedal. They are not letting down at all. Memphis actually scored coming out, so they feel the need to push the envelope here. They get their first down. Now they go run again by Brown. Now they're going to go tight end wheel. He slips out again. You see every time here. They've got good protection. So your wheel, he's going to come up the side. I think he runs like a post or a crosser. Play action. Looks like Brown's going to run it. It's like the old Tebow play. He's trying to get a release on Eccles right there. He wants that corner to bite on the QB run, and he kind of does, but he holds tight enough to keep that one from happening. I really like that play design. That was a great shot. Oh, and at that point in the game, 9 of 10 for 85 yards and a touchdown on third downs for Byron Brown. Fantastic. Fakes the swing, comes back to the middle screen. I love their middle screen. Middle screen's good play. Hadn't seen that at Auburn in a long time. Neptune's going to run like he's running an angle route, come back. Now he's got blockers, and it's a screen. I think they could have had a little bit more out of that if you get a better throw, but it's still a really good play to set up a 4th and short, which they are going to go for. 4th and 4, they're going for it. They were going to go for it the whole time. They don't get it. This one is just kind of unfortunate, really. You're going to have these two. I think the play call is pretty good. If you can get the ball out a little faster, you got a better shot. But give credit to Memphis's defense. They were on top of it. They went with the little shoot route, which we saw a lot from Auburn. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. This is where I start asking, how did they lose this game? Look at this one. This is Sam Franklin, their running back. He transferred from Oklahoma. He was like 3rd or 4th string for Oklahoma. Transfers to USF. He's one of their better backs. He just found a crease in there. They run their typical power G, I think is what it is. Let's see. No, it's a GH counter. He finds a crease and he's out. And he's got the speed to break it, whereas Davenport does not. So they hit that big play. They go up 31-17. Like, how are they losing this football game? Again, their defense is kind of where they start losing it. QB sweep. You get a 5-yard gain. Davenport goes for first down. Now, after they get the first down, they go tempo. You know the drill at this point. They're going to hand it off. Nope. Play action. Nice. Very nice. Not ideal. You're hoping that the coverage is not that tight. He runs that little angle route to the outside again. But the ball is actually placed pretty well for what it is, and nice little grab there by Koger. And he's under pressure right here. His number 51 gets absolutely bulldogged. He's got a guy running right into him and hangs in there and makes a nice little throw with a good ball placement. All right. You get another Brown run for a little bit. Lose a yard on the GH counter. You go drop. Cole Best was great right here. I remember this play. Let's see. He's going to lunge and get a hand on that guy so Brown can step up. It's dropped, but that was a great effort by Cole Best, which is what he is. He's an effort guy at the end of the day. I don't think he's a, great talent necessarily, but he's a very, very hard work ethic, and he's going to make some all-out effort kind of plays like that, which is good. Here's a little rollout from the pistol. You don't see that a whole lot from them. That throw is stupid. He has his little shoot route if he wants it, but he goes to the next level on Singleton running the out. Golly, look at where he fit that in. First down, that's 7 minutes left in the game. They're rolling with the lead. All right, they run the ball, get a few. They go for a double post. It doesn't happen. Just a pretty decent ball, but a lot of coverage. Almost hit it, but not quite. Here you got a scramble right here on a drop back. They bring some pressure. He's not liking what he sees. He evades the pocket. Gets down the sideline. Actually gets the first down on that, by the way. They give him the reach to the first down. Now they're under 6 minutes. Still have the lead, 31-26. You got a drop pass to Neptune. They lose 3 yards on a GH counter. They go middle screen again. It's knocked down at the line, so that's the end of that drive. Memphis goes down, scores, and converts 2-point conversion, which puts them up by 3, and USF has 1:07 left. So that whole part of the game, that was defense. Got to make a stop there. They couldn't stop them. Now it's up to the offense with 1:07, and they just got to get in field goal range to go to overtime, and this is what happens. All right, this is the last drive. Let's just walk through every play. 1:07 left in the game. They go straight drop back out of trips. They got all curls. Hits one of his curls on the comeback there, and they get nothing. Now the clock is running. That was a really, really bad first play. Don't really love the curls there, but they were really looking for that slant on the backside like they'd hit a few times earlier. Which I like. So that's fine. It just ended up being kind of a detrimental play to the drive with the clock still running. And they do they get the clock to stop somehow. I don't remember how. I guess they took a timeout. Anyway, back to this. They go trips, drop again, 57 seconds left. Good protection. Brown's got all day. Finds his guy. I think they get interference out of it on Singleton. Huge. All right, they're inching closer. They're getting there. I can't see the routes on this play. They got 49 seconds. They're on their own 37-yard line. Big scramble here. Gets out of bounds. Gets some important yards. Doesn't use a lot of time. They still got 41 seconds. They're in good shape. Next play, it is a curls incomplete. There's your curl right there, sort of near the referee. Dropped it. That's not the worst outcome in the world. You get the clock to stop. Now you're at 3rd and 4. This was a huge play. 3rd and 4. There's your little slant that we saw right before the second half. They're running the same plays that they ran on the 2-minute drill in the first half. Now they're running them again. They're getting the same zone look. It's all up to timing and execution at that point, and that's as good as you're going to get. Put the ball right on his numbers in the zone hole. Nice rifle there. All right. 32 seconds remaining. They are now knocking on the door of field goal range. Not quite there yet. That's a pretty good play. They got one timeout. Clock's running. They have to hurry now, but they're in field goal range technically. They're not in a great spot, but they're in field goal range. This is the next play. Now you're under 15 seconds. He gets it completed. Again, he's just making plays out here now. And the play is the same. It's still the slant into the open space. Memphis brought it right here. They sold out. They're going to try to get a big play here, maybe a turnover or something. Brown finds a way out of it, makes a play. I mean, I'm telling you, that's as good as it gets. You got ice in your veins kind of thing. Both him and Singleton to make that play, get the first down. Now you've got a very clear field goal. I think it's about 42 yards is where they're at. That's a strike you can take right there, and you can get out of this regulation, get into overtime. But then this happens. This is where you go, unbelievable. This is like one of those ways that Auburn would find a way to lose a game, right? Not what you want to see, but this is the reality of the situation here in this particular game. What's going to happen is they're going to get some pressure, and Cole Best is going to grab the guy and make a very blatant hold. And I guess, it's pretty smart by Memphis. They send their safety up on the line there, a quicker guy to try to shoot that gap. It's that 5-star guy I was telling you about, Kamari Wilson. And he absolutely got right by Cole Best and made him grab him. What does that mean? Holding. We're going back 10 yards. They take a shot to the end zone. Again, this is where you almost go, hey, you got a timeout. Why don't you just run the football and make it an easier field goal? No, we're going for the throat. That is Alex Golish's style. We don't play conservatively. We play aggressively. And sometimes I think it's the reason they won the Florida game. But this game's a different story. So you're going to have a little bit of that. He throws to the end zone when all you got to do really is run the ball, get it to the middle of the field, call a timeout, and keep it in Brown's hands, quite frankly. But they end up holding there. They go back. Man, what a detrimental, terrible hold. So they send him out. He's got a 52-yarder instead of a 42-yarder, and he does not make it. Ball game. I know. You don't want to see that, right? You don't want to know that they can lose games like that. But there it is. This is every single style is going to have that way that they can lose a game. Even if you're overly conservative, like I thought Hugh Freeze was a lot, that will get you hurt. So you need to live and die by your style at the end of the day. That's exactly what Golish did here. They took a shot at the end zone when really all they needed to do was run the ball and set up their field goal so they can go to overtime. But he doesn't think like that. And that game is the best example of that, where you go, okay, I see what he's working with now. I see what he's about. Sometimes maybe there needs to be a little give and take. There needs to be a happy medium somewhere where you go, all right, that's not the best decision, bottom line. And they paid for it. So it's all a learning experience. He's still very new as a head coach, and I think he'll learn from a game like that. So wanted to show that when I thought that was an important offseason game to attend to and break down, and hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed all the commentary at the beginning. Don't forget to check out Zen AI and get your own podcast started with the help of Zen AI. And the link is in the description. Check that out. And I hope you learned something. We'll catch you next time on this show. As always, never pass on a playmaker. See you.